All right, guys. So for this morning, for grammar, right? Usually we do this assignment on Wednesdays, but I decided to switch it to Thursday. I thought it would be better for us to do it Thursday. All right. So what we're going to do is now we've been practicing doing revising and editing, but with shorter passages. So this week we're going to practice using longer passages. This is more what you will see when you take STAR, okay, the writing STAR in the second half of the school year. There'll be longer passages. No, you do not have to do your read strategies, but you should be doing the strategies that we've kind of been talking about, all right? Putting our STAR next to the sentence that it's talking about, rereading the sentences, and focusing on the changes that they want you to make. And remember, just because it says, or the question asks you, what change, if any, should be made, sometimes there's not a change that we have to make. So be careful about that. All right. So I am going to work with you on slide 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you will work on slide 5, 6, and 7, and 8 on your own as your independent work for today. Okay. So you should be watching this video first. All right. So then that way you can watch me model this first one, and then you will try it independently with the remaining slides. All right, so we have a helpful anchor chart right here off to the side about cups. All right, so this passage that we're going to do together here is focused on editing. All right, remember cups is for editing. The C is for capitalize. We need to capitalize names, places, the letter I by itself, titles, sentences, or sentence beginnings. Usage, we need to match nouns and verbs correctly, especially the tenses. Remember, we don't say he catched the ball, he caught the ball, okay? Punctuation, we need to remember that sentences should have the correct punctuation. If we're talking about dialogue, they should have the quotation marks, right? If it's asking a question, it should have a question mark. And then for spelling, make sure your spelling is correct. You can use dictionaries. You can use dictionaries on STAR. We can't use computers for STAR or any other resources, but we can use dictionaries. So if you're not sure of a word or how you're spelling it, try to find it in a dictionary. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. So the first thing we need to do is we need to read the top section up here on this slide. All right, so it says read the selection and choose the best answer to each question. Lakeisha wrote this paper about an unforgettable time in her life. She would like you to read her paper and look for any edits she needs to make. When you finish reading, answer the questions that follow. So I always tell you that you need to read this top part because it tells you what the paper is about. So that can help later on if they ask you a question like, hey, what sentence should be taken out from this paper? You can see which of those answer choices are focused on what this paper is talking about. So she's writing about an unforgettable time in her life. So all of these sentences in here should relate to what she's writing about. Okay, so it's called a splashing tribute. Last year in third grade, we studied different authors. My favorite writer was Beverly Cleary. I read 6 of her novels. I enjoyed telling my parents about the funny characters in her books. When it was time to plan our family vacation, my mom said, "Stay calm. We have a surprise for you. We are going to Portland, Oregon to see the Beverly Cleary Sculpture Garden." I was thrilled by Mom's words and will never forget them. Okay, guys, so remember, as I'm reading this, you should be listening and you should also be watching and looking. Is there anything, remember I call it like a scavenger hunt, is there anything that could be wrong? You're trying to look for mistakes, okay? To prepare for the trip, I learned all I could about this garden built in Cleary's childhood neighborhood in Northeast Portland. I researched information from several online articles. Community members raised money to build a special tribute to the life of this well-loved author. On October 13, 1995, Beverly Cleary and over 1,000 people attended the dedication of the park. During the ceremony, Cleary shared memories from her books, while actors pretended to be characters from her beloved novels. According to pictures on the internet, the garden has 3 bronze statues that squirt water. After I learned this, I placed a swimsuit in my suitcase. The anticipated day finally arrived. After the long drive from Texas, we reached Grant Park. I will never forget the moment I first saw the fantastic Beverly Cleary sculpture garden. Right before my eyes were the life-size statues from the Ramona Quimby series. First, I splashed in the water fountain under mischievous Ramona's feet. Then, I ran around Ribsy and tried to catch the squirts of water coming from his paws. Finally, I stood by the lanky and serious Henry Huggins and pretended to visit with him. I read on the display board that Lee Hunt, a local artist, had first sculpted these 3 favorite characters from clay. He then cast them in bronze. They were amazing because of their lifelike features. Granite plaques engraved with titles of Beverly Cleary books were carefully placed on a concrete court. My mom and I played a game. First, I stood on the tile that had Beezus and Ramona inscribed on it. Mom shared one detail from that novel. Then we changed roles. Mom stood on the square with Ramona forever. "That's an easy one," I snickered. I recited at least 10 different funny parts of that novel before Mom said it was her turn. She wanted to tell more funny, Cleary story. We laughed for at least 45 minutes as we recited humorous events from the novels. We realized why many people enjoy Beverly Cleary's writings. What a special trip for my family. I read some of Beverly Cleary's books last year. After visiting the sculpture garden, I am anxious to read all of them. I will never forget the day that I splashed in the park with Ramona, Ribsy, and Henry. All right, guys, so this might be the more of a tricky part, all right? So we just read a pretty long passage, all right? But we're focusing on editing for this passage. So hopefully that will be an easier one for us to work with, okay? So let's work with question 1. What change, if any, should be made in sentence 17? So I don't have my drawing tool, but I can still use shapes here, okay? So sentence 17 is where I'm going to focus my attention. So what I should do is I should be going back to sentence 17 so I can rewrite it. All right, so that is on slide 2. I'm going to insert another shape. I'll see, I don't think they have a star, so I'll just put another circle. Okay, so sentence 17. All right, now we need to reread that sentence. After the long drive from Texas, we reached Grant Park. Okay, there's not really anything that sounds off to me, but I did notice something with my eyes. Again, remember I said this is like a scavenger hunt. You want to be looking and also listening. Okay, so let's see what changes they tell us to make. Change Texas with a lowercase t to Texas with a capital T. What do we think about that change? Okay, so they're changing the capitalization. Okay, in the passage, Texas is with a lowercase t, and they want us to change it to a capital T. We should be thinking, should we do that? What do we know about capitalization? We know that we should capitalize proper nouns. Remember that a proper noun is the specific name of a person, place, or thing. So is the word Texas, is that a specific name of a person, place, or thing? Yes, yes it is. We live in the state of Texas. If I had just said state, state is a common noun, it's not specific. How many states are there in the United States? 50, right? So there's a lot. If I just said, yeah, I live in that state, Would I know what state? No. So I have to be specific. So what do we think about answer choice A? Should we make that change? Should we change Texas with a lowercase t to Texas with a capital T? Yes, we should. Okay, so let's put a circle around this one. All right, so that one was kind of easy. I don't really need to check the other ones. I can. Actually, I'll take that back. You should check the other ones just in case there might be a better answer choice. But I'm pretty confident that A is the correct answer. So let's look at B. Change grant, the capital G, to grant with the lowercase g. Well, let's go back to that sentence. After the long drive from Texas, we reached Grant Park. Oh, well, that's the specific name of a park. Do I want to lowercase that G? No, it needs to be capitalized. C, change park with a capital P to park with a lowercase. Well, again, it's kind of the same reason for B. I don't want to change the capital P. It's part of the name of the park. It's called Grant Park. If it had just said park by itself without Grant, then yes, you would want it to be lowercase. But in this case, no, we don't want it. And then D, make no change. Should we do that one? No, there was a change we needed to make, and it was A. Okay, good. Let's move on. Question 2. What change should be made in sentence 19? Okay, so I'm going to put my circle around sentence 19. That's the one that I'm focusing on. Okay. All right, sentence 19. So let's go back there. So sentence 19 is pretty close to sentence 17. Right, so here is where I'm going to focus. Right before my eyes were the life-size statues from the Ramona Quimby series. Nothing sounds off. Let me check my answer choices. Change Quimby with a capital Q to Quimby with a lowercase. Well, in sentence 19, it says, right before my eyes were the life-size statues from the Ramona Quimby series. Is that a specific name? Yes. Yes, it is. So would I want to make Quimby lowercase if it's a specific name, if it's a proper noun, or it's the name of a title of a book series? No, I don't want it to be lowercase. It should be capitalized. So answer choice F is not the correct one here. Okay, I'm just going to put a line there. What about G? Change Ramona with a lowercase r to Ramona with a capital R. Well, is that the specific name of that series? Or is it the specific name of that book, Ramona Quimby? Yes. Yes, it is. So we know that specific names of people, places, things, titles, or books should be capitalized. So would we want Ramona to be capitalized? Would we want to change it to a capital R? Yes, we would. So more than likely, this is going to be our answer. Let's double check and make sure. Oops. All right, H, change series with a lowercase s to series with the capital S. Is it being specific, that word series? If I just say, yeah, I'm reading this series, is that specific? No, it's not. So that is not one of our possible answers. Okay. What about J? Change statues with a lowercase s to statues with a capital S. What about that one? Is that specific? Nope. I could be talking about any statue, anywhere. I have to be more specific than that. So this is not our answer choice either. The correct answer choice was G. Change Ramona with a lowercase r to Ramona with a capital R. Good. All right. And then we got 3 more questions here. What change should be made in sentence 28? So let's take a look at that one. Sentence 28. Okay, sentence 28. I gotta go back over here. It's a little bit further down, but I found it. Okay, there it is. All right. First, I stood on the tile that had Beezus and Ramona inscribed on it. I see something already. Oops, actually, I skipped a question, guys. I'll have to go back to that one. All right, let's continue with question 4 here, and I'll go back to question 3 in a bit. So, what change should be made in sentence 28? How many of you think you got it already? I do. I found it. I know it. So F, change Beezus and Ramona with lowercase letters to Beezus with a lowercase b and Ramona with a capital R. Well, why did they only capitalize one? Is Beezus and Ramona the name, the specific name of something? Yes, it is. So why would they only capitalize one and not the other? Should that be our answer choice? Nope, that one shouldn't. So let's cross that one off. What about G? Change Beezus with a lowercase b and Ramona with a lowercase r to Beezus with a capital B and Ramona with a lowercase r. What do we think about that one? No, that one's pretty much the same as answer choice F, but it's just reversed. They capitalize the B but not the R. But why not? It's a specific name of something. Why aren't both of them capitalized? It goes together. It's called Beezus and Ramona. So no, G is not our answer. All right, what about H? Change Beezus and Ramona with lowercase letters to Beezus with a capital B and with a capital A and then Ramona with a capital R. Should I do that? Why not? Well, for instance, they have and capitalized with a capital A. Do we need that to be capitalized? Is and a proper noun or the specific name of something? No, it's not. So that is also not our correct answer choice. So the only other one we have left here is J. Change Beezus and Ramona with lowercase letters to Beezus with a capital B and Ramona with a capital R. Should we do that one? Yes, we should. It's the specific name of that statue or that book series. So that is a change that we should make. You got to be really careful with these guys.